What you're seeing on the screen in front of you is the windshield for the Automoblocks car. And that's what we're going to be creating today using the ARC tool. This is going to be a little harder, I think, than the designs we've done so far in class. We'll start off by creating the basic shape. Viewing from the left-right view, we'll extrude that to the width and shell out the design and add the insert, this part that comes down, that here, that fits into the cutout of the passenger section. All right, let's get started. Let's create a sketch. Left-right plane. Okay, so the ZY, YZ, however you want to say it. And let's start by drawing a couple lines. First line is going to be horizontal along the x-axis. That will be 80 millimeters. All right, I'm going to pull my dimension line down out of the way. And now we're going to draw a second line from the origin. That is going to be 16.25 millimeters. Tab, and we're going to set the angle to 84 degrees. And enter. Okay, so we've got, bring this down. We've got two lines which give us a basic shape. And now we're going to use two arcs to create the remainder of the windshield. Okay, so we've got here's our 16.25 millimeter line, and our 80 millimeter line comes out like this. We're going to create a construction line that goes up, and then another one that comes across. That'll give us this point here. Okay, this will be in a tangent arc. And then we will join this point and this point with a 3-point arc. All right, let's get started on this. Let's turn on construction. And if you were here, I'd ask you to remind me to turn it off when we're done. Let's go to our line tool. And we are going to go up from this end point, 26 millimeters. Click and over 68 millimeters. I want it to be 90 degrees. And click. Escape out of the line tool. So now I have a point here and a point here. Let's go ahead and turn off construction. Now, to join these 2 points, we're going to use a tangent arc. I could do it through the line tool, but let's go to arc, tangent arc, select our 2 points, and there's our tangent arc. Escape out of that tool. Now we want to join this point and this point with a 3-point arc, and we will drag it up until we get the tangent symbol there. So let's create arc, 3-point arc. This point, click, and as I drag it up, I get the tangent symbol, click, escape, and there I have our basic shape. Let's finish sketch, and let's extrude this shape 65 millimeters. It is 65 millimeters, I believe. Yes. Extrude, our profile selected, 65 millimeters. Good, new body, click OK. There's our shape. Let's fillet these edges. So we want to put a 10 millimeter fillet here and along that edge. So I've opened the fillet tool, modify fillet. Notice I'm spending less time on telling you how to access these tools. I'm expecting you to learn this. I'm going to select my edges that I want to fillet. There's this edge going around, this edge, And that edge, 6 edges are selected in total. And I want to apply a 10 millimeter fillet. We'll click OK. And there's our profile for the windshield. Go back to the home position. Okay, next steps. We're going to hollow out the bottom of our windshield. Okay, see how that's hollow? And then we are going to start the sketch to create the insert. Now this is going to be a little bit more difficult, or the more difficult aspect of this. So let's go where we can see the bottom. Our shell tool, modify shell. Select the bottom face. We want our walls to be 2 millimeters and click OK. So there we have shelled out. Let's go to the bottom. All right, now I want to rotate this around so that the origin is on the bottom right of my design. Notice I have these arrows. I clicked on the bottom. I have these arrows to rotate it. Okay, when I do that, my shadows change and I get this rectangle shape here in my design. Okay, that's the bottom side of the windshield. And what I'm going to do is create a sketch on this surface, okay, the bottom of the windshield. And I'm going to draw a diagonal from this point to this point, which will allow me to find the center point of that rectangle and draw a center rectangle that is 48 millimeters wide and 38 millimeters tall. So let's go create sketch. I'm going to select the center. And it rotated around on me again. So let's use my arrows and flip it back over. Use the pan. Oh, no, didn't get the pan tool. Let's zoom back. There we go. That looks a little better. Escape. So I'm going to be sketching on this surface. That's the surface I chose. I'm going to turn on construction and draw my diagonal line. Line tool. There's my corner. Come down to this corner. There it is. Click. Escape out of the line tool. What are we going to do? Turn off construction. And I'm going to draw my center rectangle now. Create rectangle, center rectangle. Let's come up this line. There's the center point. Click. Come out. 48 millimeters wide. Tab. 38 millimeters tall. Enter. There's my rectangle. Okay. Now, we're going to round off these corners. Let's go to the bottom view on this one. Didn't get it. Let's rotate it around so we're in the same orientation. So these corners are rotated, and now we need to create these notches. But we need to do something else first. Notice how that's a solid shape. I only got a single line. So we need to fillet our corners, 5 millimeters, and then we're going to offset our shape by a millimeter, -1 millimeter. Okay, so fillet tool, modify fillet. Doesn't allow me to select the corner since it's center rectangle. Let's change it from 10 to 5. Select our lines not where the construction lines are. Click and click. 5 millimeters on all 4 corners. Good. Enter. Now the offset tool, modify offset. Select my shape. -1 millimeter. No, not negative. I want to go inside. I'm upside down. 1 millimeter. Forgot. All right, so I want my offset, the line in red, to be inside of my original shape. I made a mistake on the last one and did it the other way. So I'm redoing the video. Messed up my design. All right, click OK. And now I have my shape. See my 1 millimeter offset is pointing to the inside, okay? All right, so now we need to create our notches, all right? So this line is 12 millimeters from this line, and the same here. This inner line is 12 millimeters from this outer line. So we're going to draw two 1 millimeter lines on the right side. We will position them 12 millimeters from these edges, complete the notch rectangle, draw a mirror line in the center here down, construction mirror line, and we will mirror the two notches to the other side. All right, so line tool. I'm going to draw a 1 millimeter line somewhere in here, 1 millimeter, enter. I'm going to come down and draw another 1 millimeter line down here, click, 1 millimeter, enter. So I've got two lines now, and I want to use the sketch dimension tool, create sketch dimension, and I want to position this line. I'm going to zoom in, that line right there, and I want it to be positioned to this line, 12 millimeters, enter, this one to this one, 12 millimeters, and enter. Okay, so I've got my lines positioned, escape out of the dimension tool. Let's complete the rectangles with line tool. In point, up 1 millimeter, click, and in 1 millimeter, click. There's that dimension. All right, now these are the inner sides that we position. Click down 1 millimeter. This is important. And over 1 millimeter. All right, escape out of the line tool, and I have my two notches in place. Now, if I click, my notches are not included in my enclosed shape, so I need to get rid of these inner edges to my notches. So let's go to the Modify, Trim, the scissors, Trim tool, and I'm going to get rid of this inner portion of my line. There it is. Okay, escape out of that. That looks good. Those notches are in place. I don't want to draw that on the other side. I'm going to use the mirror tool. So let's go to the line tool, turn on construction. Let's come across our top line, find the center point. There it is, triangle, click, come down a little bit, click again, escape. I've now created a centered mirror line. Let's go create mirror. And we're going to select the 6 edges to our notches. All right, those are selected. I got 6 objects to mirror selected. I now need to change my selection to select the mirror line. There's my mirror line. Okay, my notches are, oh, I forgot. Let's go back and add. I missed this line, so I went back and reactivated the item there. I've got one selected twice, apparently. Okay, my mirror line still selected. Now my design, notice it was missing that one. Oh, I selected the circle. Okay, not the, I'm going to deselect that circle. There we go, that looks better. I'm back to 6. Click OK. And trim out the insides of our notches, and we have those as part of our enclosed shape. Escape, and that is the end of the first part. We'll pick it up in part 2 for this project.